Yes. What's going on, family? What is up? What is up? What is up, guys? Welcome to tonight's stream with your boy Abel. Super excited to be here, family, with every single one of y'all that's tuning in right now. But before we even get this thing started, family, I want to give a massive shout out to Ram DX. Right, it is our newest member to the channel, and he's actually the first person to take advantage of the newest membership offer that I just created today. Okay, today I just created, family, a new membership offer, and he was the first person to actually go ahead and enroll it. So with that being said, Ramdi, I appreciate you for actually being a part of the familia. Welcome to the familia. Send me a message after this call so I can get you into the private chat, the private telegram that I have created for everybody that actually does have a paid membership right here on YouTube to be a part of my community. And also, since you did subscribe to be a super mentee, you also do get a one-on-one session with me. And let's make sure that we do schedule that out as soon as possible, right? Again, it's no really rush, but you do get, a one-on-one session with me every single month. And I hope that's something that could really take your trading to a completely new level, family. So other than that, let's make sure we get that scheduled so we can get that one-on-one on the way at your time whenever you want it. We can definitely go ahead and get that thing going. But family, welcome to tonight's stream. Super excited to be here with every single one of you guys. As usual, it's a phenomenal day to be alive. It's a phenomenal day to be blessed. And it's a phenomenal day, guys, to really come on here and be able to really take things up a whole nother level. But before we even get started, family, go ahead and drop your locations in the chat down below. Right, let me see where everybody's tuning in. Let me see where everybody's tuning in from, family. Right, let me see where everybody's tuning in from. I see we got Puerto Rico in the house. What's going on, Christopher? Good to see you in the building. We got ATL on the check-in. King Lions, I see you. Tina in the house. Alabama, what is up? California in the building. What is going on? Shout out to you guys out there in Cali. I appreciate you. We got Sydney in the house as well. We got Trinidad and Tobago in the building on the check-in. Something I'm super excited about because I truly love Trinidad and Tobago. I can't wait to make my way back out there. Last time I was out there in Trinidad, I was actually a part of a big Forex convention where I was able to pretty much teach, in front of about 3,000 people out there in Trinidad and Tobago. All right, so absolutely amazing. Shout out to you guys out there in Trinidad and Tobago. And hopefully I'm out there to be able to provide you guys with a ton of value, in person sometime in the future, right? It's something that I'm excited about. But let's see what else we got in the building, guys. We got Philly in the house. We got Trinidad and Tobago. We got Tampa, Florida in the building. We got Louisiana in the house. Chicago in the building. Shout out to everybody out there in Chicago. I appreciate y'all. We got Jersey in the building. We got my guy Christian in the house. I appreciate you, Christian. What is going on? Shout out to you guys out there on the Chicago squad. We got Tennessee in the building. My guy Earl, I see you in the chats. Welcome to the family. I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. And with today, family, we're not going to waste no time. We're going to get right into the value, right into the sauce, and really just see what the markets have been doing over the past day, right? Because for anybody that's new to the actual stream, family, I do these sessions every single Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at this exact same time. And the whole point of these streams and these sessions, these live trainings, these live sessions is literally just to put you guys in a better position in your trading career. Because one thing that I know about trading, family, is that, it's definitely not an easy thing to do, right? Trading is one of the most complex skill sets to learn. Trading is something that's going to involve a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of money, right? It's going to really, guys, test you as a person overall, and I just want to be able to do my part with providing you guys with as much value as possible so that you guys are able to really go ahead and improve to the best of your ability, right? So that's literally why I'm here today, family. So I see we got California in the building. We got Kenya. We got Sarasota, Florida on the check-in as well. Absolutely amazing. I appreciate every single one of you guys that is tuning in right now. Now, if you are on this stream as well, family, if you are on this stream right now and you are not subscribed to the channel, that is the reason why you're not able to actually comment in the chat. So if you want to be able to actually interact with everybody a part of the family, if you want to ask certain questions, if you want to give your own comment, concerns, whatever the case may be, I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe once you do actually get some type of value from this session, right? I say this every single stream because I truly mean it. I don't want you guys to hit subscribe just for no reason. I want you guys to hit subscribe because I was able to earn, your subscription, right? I want to earn it based off the value that I'm providing you. So if I don't provide you with no value, then you do not need to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, it is what it is, right? I'm not going to be able to teach everybody everything, right? But I am excited to be here with every single one of y'all. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I see we got the young legend, Mr. Kyle Hustles in the building out there in Orlando. Shout out to you guys out there in Orlando. We got Hawaii in the house. We got Tennessee in the house. We got Houston, Texas. Shout out to everybody out there in H-Town. I really, really love H-Town. I love Houston, Texas. You know, Houston will definitely, if I ever decide to leave out of North Carolina, Houston is definitely on one of my to-go lists, you know, to actually move to, right? You know, it's just a very beautiful city, very big city. Houston is huge, right? Houston is one of those cities where to get from one part to the next part, it's a minimum of 30 minutes, right? And it'll take you an hour to get from one side to the other side of Houston, right? So it's a massive city, but I absolutely love it. Beautiful, beautiful city. A lot of great energy. So again, you know, if I do pop up out there in Houston sometime in the future, do not be surprised. All right, but let's see what else we got here. We got Dallas, Texas in the building. What's going on, Sergio? Good to see you in the chat. We got Kenya in the building as well. Massive, massive shout out to every single one of you guys that are members of this chat, of this community. You know, you guys also are the ones that have the green colors in the chat. You know, you guys are a little bit different than everybody else because you guys get me on a more personal level. And you guys also get a nice little cool badge right next to your guys' name. So I appreciate every single one of you guys that are actually members as well. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we got here, guys. So we did have some news for today. We had a couple different news releases that actually came out today, guys. You know, one that actually affected the Canadian dollar with the Bank of Canada rate statement and the overnight rate. They did actually raise their interest rates 50 basis points, which is something that was already predicted. You know, we already expected this to happen. And we're also going to take a look, guys, at USD CAD, just so you guys can see how the market pretty much reacted, you know, to this actual news release that came out. Again, anytime interest rates go up, you have to understand the purpose of interest rates going up is to try to slow down an economy, right? Obviously, right now, family, we're all dealing with, I mean, pretty much across the entire world, we're dealing with inflation, right? Inflation is the #1 topic, you know, that everybody's really concerned about, right? So the fact that interest rates are going up is to try to combat or try to slow down inflation, you know, because it's absolutely out of control right now. You know, so we'll definitely take a look at USD CAD, see how the market reacted to that. I personally don't be trading any CAD pairs. You know, that's not on my watch list, so I haven't even looked at it today. But I will take a look at it just to see pretty much how the market responded from that. On top of CAD news, we also had USD news with manufacturing PMI data that actually came out. And we did see the market actually react to this data that actually released. On top of that, we also had job openings, you know, which pretty much tells us, guys, how many job openings are actually out there now, right? And there are actually more job openings. There's less than was previously predicted, but they actually beat expectations for job openings. But overall, you know, there are more jobs being taken up, right? There's less jobs available right now. And that's a whole conversation in itself, right? Because the previous time this actually came out, I'm not sure, I believe this is probably reported every single month. Yeah, it's released monthly, right? So last month, guys, when this actually came out, you know, there was 11.86 million jobs available, right, that were open that needed to be filled. Right now, this month actually came out at 11.4 million, right? So that's almost 400,000 less jobs now available. Now, there could be a lot of reasons for why this actually happened. It could be, you know, that a lot of people just started looking for more employment. A lot of people are now hiring. Or you can look at the flip side, and you can also say that because interest rates are going up, because the cost of everything goes up, right? You know, a lot of these businesses, guys, you know, their profit margin is now starting to decrease because of inflation as well. Because it's not just us consumers, guys, that are dealing with inflation, right? It's also businesses as well that are also feeling the wrath of inflation. And as those profit margins start to become smaller and smaller, a way for them to try to combat that is by actually starting to fire a lot of people, right? Or at least taking a lot of jobs off of the table. So that can also be a reason why we probably seen a decrease in job openings, you know, from this month compared to last month. And again, we are going to take a look at the markets and show you guys exactly how the market is reacting to some of these things. But for those of you guys that are new to fundamental analysis, guys, and for those of you guys that are new to my streams, you know, I'm very, very, very big in understanding fundamentals, right? Because I truly believe that fundamental analysis and sentimental analysis is the overall driving factor of these markets, right? We're talking about the currency market. The value of a currency is directly impacted by the strength or weakness of an economy, right? So data like the PMI information, right, which is the Purchasing Managers Index, data like that, and the job openings, data like that, guys, is what's going to really dictate the strength or weakness, or what's going to create sentiment on the strength or the weakness of an economy, which is going to lead to these currencies either gaining strength or losing strength, right? So that's something that I really preach heavy here on this channel, is that you guys need to start really understanding fundamentals and sentimental analysis much more than you probably already know now, because the fact of the matter is, family, I guarantee probably 95% of you guys on this call right now have really only been utilizing technical analysis to trade. And I'm not going to say that you can't be profitable with it, right? Because I went about 4 years with solely using technicals, so it is possible, right? But the thing is, if you really want to take your trading to a completely higher level, and if you want to get to a point where you're trading with a lot of confidence, just understanding, guys, what's really happening from an economical standpoint would really go ahead and truly benefit you guys. My trading has absolutely exploded tenfold, right? Ever since I really started taking fundamental analysis serious, ever since I really started to understand how to trade from a sentimental bias. So these are things that I highly encourage you guys to really start dabbing into a lot more, right? Whether it's you guys actually, jumping on this stream to learn these things, or whether you're actually doing your own due diligence, right? You can literally type in fundamental analysis on YouTube and sentimental analysis outlooks on YouTube, and you can learn all these different things as well, on your own time. But I highly recommend you guys to go ahead and do that, guys. But overall, that's pretty much the news that we actually had today. And like I said, we actually did have a nice spike in the dollar because of this. So we're going to definitely take a look at that and see overall what really has been occurring. But we did have some positive data come out for at least the dollar itself. So let's go ahead and get into the actual market size. Like I said, I don't want to take too much time today, going on any of my rants. Again, I can't promise that I'm not going to go on my rants. You guys know me. When I get into the swing of things and when certain questions get asked, I typically go on a rant, which the rant itself, guys, is really a lot of wisdom and a lot of value that is provided. So trust me, I don't mind doing the rants, but I'm really just trying to get straight to the markup, straight to the actual charts, and really just help you guys understand them from, a technical standpoint overall as well for today, right? So what did we tell you guys about yesterday, guys? Looking at the dollar, we had pretty much the dollar's doing exactly what we expected yesterday. If you guys could see the arrows on the screen, we created those yesterday, right? I didn't create those today. Those are stuff that I actually created yesterday. And it was because I was predicting the dollar to actually go ahead and gain strength going into today, especially off of this level of demand that we have down here, or this level of support, right where the 50 period moving average is, so we did see exactly and do exactly, guys, what we've been expecting. I was looking for a rebound, at least for now, for price to go higher. And, we're doing that now, right? This is going to be the thing that I'm going to be looking for, guys, for the dollar itself. Okay, we do have to keep in mind, we do have major tier 1 data. Yeah, I'm all about my money, golly. Right, shout out to the newest subscriber. I appreciate you, Pharaoh. That was super loud, but I appreciate you, Pharaoh. Welcome to the family. Family, go ahead and drop some welcomes in the chat for our newest subscriber. You guys know how it is. We want to make sure that everybody is welcome, especially everybody that does take time to actually be subscribed. So, Pharaoh, I appreciate you. Welcome to the family, and I hope I'm able to give you some value today. Right, but like I was saying, guys, we do have major data getting released on Friday with the non-farm employment change, right? Quote unquote NFP, non-farm payrolls, and we also have the unemployment rate getting released as well. Now, this is going to be very important data, guys, that can really help us out overall, to figure out what the dollar is going to do moving forward, right? And not just the dollar, but for any of you guys that trade indices, right? Like things like the S&P 500, right? The NAS 100, US 30, right? I know we probably have a lot of indice traders on this call, or people that really want to get into that style of trading. These type of data releases, guys, is what's really going to impact those markets, right? The equity markets overall. So we do have this on Friday that we have to pay attention to. Now, for those guys that don't know what NFP or non-farm employment change is, I mean, it's very simple. You can literally just read it right from these calendars that are here. right? So what this measures, this specific news release, guys, it measures the change in the number of employed people during the previous month, right? So very simple way to actually look at this, guys, right? If we actually come out with higher employment numbers, that's typically looked at as good for the economy, right? Let me say this one more time, guys, because this is important, right? If we actually come out with a high number for employment, okay, with right now, they're actually predicting, I mean, they're predicting a massive decrease, right, of actually people employed, right? But if this number actually comes out higher than what it previously was, that's looked at as good for the economy. And when that's looked at as good for the economy, then that can cause investors to be a lot more optimistic with the economy. And that can cause investors to really go to more of a risk-on sentiment type of vibe. Now, for those of you guys that were on my call yesterday and were on it last week, right? Very simple question, family, that I got for y'all. And again, those that were paying attention will be able to answer this. But if we're in a risk-off sentiment, or risk-on sentiment, I mean, right? If we're in a risk-on sentiment type of environment, what assets are going to benefit from that, right? What assets, what commodities, what currencies, what is going to benefit during a risk-on type of sentiment environment? You know, that could happen. Again, this is just more of a what is that word, right? This is more so just a what if type of situation, a what if scenario, right? Because obviously right now they're expecting a decrease of 100,000 employed people, right? So if for whatever reason we come out and surpass the previous month, that's going to bring optimism. And when optimism is brought into the market and we are now in a risk on type of sentiment, what is going to benefit? What should we be looking to buy during those type of environments? Right, let me know in the chats, family. Right, I see we got the Bahamas in the building. We got New Orleans in the chat. What is up? What is up? What is up? Let's see. Why is non-farm coming out tomorrow? Isn't it normally the first Friday? Yeah, so the one that's coming out tomorrow is the ADP, right? It's pretty much like the pre-NFP, right? Which the main one is on Friday, but this is more like a pre-NFP, you know, which is more so, I'm not going to say it's not necessary, but yeah, right. It just doesn't include everything, right? The actual non-farm employment pretty much includes everything, including farming and all that aspects, right? So the main one is on Friday, though. Let's see what else we got here. When does trading start? Trading starts now, right? Trading starts from the moment I open my mouth, right? You got to really think about it differently, Obi, right? Trading is honestly more involving mindset and wisdom and experience than it is really the charts. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got here. We got Sacramento in the building. Shout out to you guys out there in Sacramento. I appreciate y'all. We got the boy Skaggs, the legend, in the building. Right. Shout out to my guy Skaggs. I appreciate you. Let's see. So crypto, stocks, crypto. Right? Everybody's saying stocks, crypto. Gold, AUD, NZD, CAD, crypto. There we go, Tina. There we go, O. Stocks, crypto, commodities, AUD, NZD, CAD. There we go, O. Right? My guy O hit it on the button, right? So when we're talking about optimism being in the markets now, right, because of positive data getting released, then yeah, more riskier, what's considered riskier plays actually benefit from that, right? So we're talking about stocks, we're talking about crypto, we're talking about commodities like oil, right? We're talking about the currencies, the commodity currencies like Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. During risk on means that the risk that people are now more people now want to actually go ahead and be exposed to more risk. So those are the things that actually benefit from that. Right? Those are the things that actually benefit from that. Okay, so we have to be aware of these things. Give me 1 second. Let me get this damn bot. This bot's being annoying. Right, so more riskier assets are gonna win, guys. So again, stocks, crypto, commodities, the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, the Canadian dollar. Typically, those gain in value. Now, again, that was more of just a what-if situation. Right now, they're expecting a massive decrease in this number. So if this number does come out where they're expecting it to come out, that's a major drop in the previous month, All right, so that can actually be looked at as more fear in the markets, right? So if this number does come out, guys, at 325K, right, which again is 100,000 less than what happened last month, right? There's 100,000 less people employed in the previous month. That's more so leading towards risk off sentiment. Right now, for everybody in the chat that's been on my calls, family, what type of assets are going to benefit during risk off sentiment? Let me know in the chats. Let me know in the chats. Right? What type of assets, guys, are going to benefit during risk off sentiment? Okay, and if you guys are just now joining this session, family, and you guys have never watched my streams, I highly recommend you guys to go back and watch my previous streams so that you guys are aware of what risk on sentiment and risk off sentiment is really all about. Right? And massive shout out to Kenny in the building. What's going on, Kenny? Shout out to you for being our most recent subscriber, family, as well. Once you guys are done answering that question I asked you guys, make sure to go ahead and drop a welcome in the chat for our newest member, our newest subscriber, Kenny. I appreciate you, Kenny. Thank you for being subscribed. And hopefully I'm able to really provide you with some type of value, you know, going into today. All right, so for risk off sentiment, guys, right? Risk off, right? So we got B More in the building. Shout out to you guys out there in B More. Right, yeah, guys, during risk off sentiment, we are dealing with gold, right? Gold is a safe haven. USD, the Japanese yen, those are safe havens, right? We got the Swiss franc, that is considered a safe haven, right? Yeah, we have bonds. Shout out to you, C. Baker, right? Bonds as well, right? You know, and when I'm talking about bonds, I'm talking about U.S. bonds and U.S. Treasury, right? Those are more safer investments. When there is fear in the market, investors and corporations tend to be more safer. Right, so these are things that we have to be aware of, guys. So again, if this number comes out at 325 or anywhere near this, that's a major decrease in the number of unemployed or the number of employed people. So I'm gonna take that personally as a bad thing, right? That's looked at as bad for the economy because now we have less people that are being employed. That's not a good thing, right? The positive thing about keeping an economy strong is that the workforce is booming. When the workforce is strong, that helps the economy to stay strong. But when we have less people being employed and we have 100,000 less people now employed from the previous month, that's usually not a good thing, right? So I think personally, if the data comes out on what's being predicted, the safe havens, risk off sentiment is what's going to really take control. So I think that the dollar can really increase in value off of that data, right? I think that gold has the potential to go higher. The Japanese yen might potentially benefit from this. The only downfall about the Japanese yen right now is the fact that, you know, they're way behind the curve when it comes to interest rates right now. So that's one thing we have to keep in mind when it comes to the Japanese yen. But yeah, things like bonds are going to benefit, right? Because why would that occur, right? Why would that happen? Because now investors are going to be more fearful of holding stocks, right? They're going to be more fearful of holding crypto. So they're going to try to convert that into cash, right? They're going to try to convert that into something more safer so that they don't continue to lose value in the assets that they're invested into. Okay, so when there's bad data that comes out for the economy, that can potentially strengthen the currency because money's going to be flowing from the equities markets or these certain assets that are more riskier into less riskier plays. All right, is this making sense, family? Drop some sevens in the chat if this is making sense. All right, and I appreciate you, Tony. I appreciate you, Kyle, and I appreciate you, C. Baker, for actually welcoming Kenny in the chat. Thank you so much for actually doing that. You know, I probably will do something for you three just because you guys are the ones that took time to actually welcome our newest member to the community. And it definitely means a lot to me for you guys, you know, to actually go ahead and want to welcome people in. Right. So thank you guys for that. But guys, does this make sense? Yes or no? Right. Drop a 7 in the chat. All right. Because again, this is the sauce, guys, that really can take you to a whole nother level. This is that sauce that can really give you a lot more confidence, guys, especially when you're actually trading as well. So that's something that we do have to keep in mind, guys, for on Friday. But just to throw this out there, guys, tomorrow we do have bank holidays for the pound and for the euro. So I know all you guys out there that are trading pound pairs and euro pairs, just be mindful, guys, there are bank holidays for those pairs as well, right? But let's go ahead and get back to what I was talking about for the dollar, guys. So again, I think there's a chance, especially based off the data, that we can see the dollar actually continue to increase in value for now. Now, this is where I want you guys to really be aware of what I'm going to be looking at, right? Because coming into this week, guys, we're going to be at a very interesting level, right? And this whole zone that we have right here at around the 103.6 to 103.8, this entire range that I just created up here, this is going to be a very, very important key level that we have to pay attention to, right? Because price has the potential, guys, to obviously go up to that level, react from there, and then go ahead and send us lower, right? Which is, again, that's probably what I was really expecting overall, right? Was more so another push lower for the dollar itself. That's more so what I was leaning towards, simply because of structure, right? We did see price, guys, give us a very strong push down that broke structure to the left. So as we understand how to trade structure, very simple. We had a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now we've seen a shift in structure because we broke this structure here to create a lower low. Now we can look for a lower high to then eventually go ahead and create another lower low, right? So that's very simple, basic market structure 101. But we have to be able to adapt if the data is telling us otherwise, okay? One thing that a trader, one important habit that all successful traders have is their ability to adapt to ever-changing market conditions based off the data that is now present to them. Okay, does this make sense, family? Let me know in the chats, right? Every single successful trader has the habit of being able to adapt when the data also changes. Whether it be data from a technical standpoint, from a fundamental standpoint, from a sentimental standpoint, they all pretty much play in, right? So you have to be able to adapt because these markets are going to shift. So what I'm looking for going into tomorrow, guys, right? And again, we might get some more clarity based on the numbers that come out on Friday. But if we actually see price go ahead and break above this 103 level, right? 103.8, 103.9, if we see the markets break that level, I'm expecting the US dollar, guys, to continue in this rally that it's been in. Right? Because for right now, I'm thinking that we could potentially see some more downside. And again, that is going against the overall trend right here. Right? Me expecting a decrease in the dollar, me expecting downside pressure, me expecting bearishness to come in, that is going against the overall trend. And the only reason why I'm doing that is because we did get a break of structure and because we had a little bit more of a riskier on type of sentiment in the markets based off previous data like retail sales that came out a couple weeks ago that actually came out really good for the economy, right? So if the market does break this 103.6, 103.8 level, I think we're just going to continue flying, all right? And I'm going to completely change my bias again and adjust myself, guys, to what now the market is telling me to adjust to. Okay, I hope this makes sense, guys, right? Because this is important. The most successful traders have the ability to change their bias when the data also changes. Write that down somewhere in your notebooks, right? Write that in your trading journal. Write that on your whiteboard. Write that down somewhere because that's extremely, extremely important, guys, right? The most successful traders have the ability to adjust to the ever-changing market conditions, especially when the data says otherwise. Okay, so overall for now, like I said, I would love to see price go ahead and give us another push lower, but if it doesn't happen because we are just so bullish, then it is what it is. All right, then it is what it is. All right, but family, go ahead and give a welcome in the chat for Wes. I appreciate you, Wes. I see you as a recent subscriber. Welcome to the family. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining the familia. Means a lot. And like I say it every single time, I hope we're able to give you some value today. Right, so but for the meantime, I think we're going to see more bullishness, guys, for the dollar coming into this week either way. Right, I think we're going to see more bullishness, guys, for the dollar to come into play either way. Right, so I want to see more upside for the dollar as a whole. Right, now let's go ahead and really break this down, guys, on the smaller time frames, right? And really show you guys what we're actually looking at. Right, so right now, guys, we've seen the dollar today. And again, remember what I told you guys, right? PMI data came out and this thing absolutely started to react because of it, right? We had PMI data that came out, sent the market absolutely flying, right? So that itself, gave a lot of strength to the dollar, which caused a break in structure. All right, we had a structural shift in the markets, right? A structural shift occurs when we break a key level or a previous higher high, higher low, lower high type of vibe, right? We've seen that. So now we can see a possible correction back down to then eventually give us another push up. Remember what I said. I think we could realistically see price come up to around this 103.6 level up here. So I'm thinking we're going to see some bullishness come up to here. And then from this level, this 103,600, this is where we're really going to be. It's going to be that make or break type of level, right? Where we can see a reaction to go back lower, or we might just have a lot of bullishness to come in, break that level, and then continue. But for this week, I truly believe that we could still expect more upside overall, right? And thank you guys for actually welcoming the newest family member as well. I appreciate you guys for that as well. It means a lot, like I said. All right, so I think we could see more upside for sure. All right, I really do, guys, right? After a little pullback, I like more upside for the dollar itself. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at a few of the currency pairs that we're actually going to be trading. Again, I don't actually trade the dollar itself. I more so use it as a gauge to help me really predict with what a lot of these other currencies could potentially do. And yeah, that's pretty much how we look at it. So let's look at the euro, guys, and start off with the euro USD. A big reason why the euro is easy to trade is because the euro does the exact opposite of the dollar. All right, like the dollar index, guys, the chart that we just looked at, it measures the strength of the US dollar against a bucket of other currencies, right? There's like 13 different currencies in that bucket, but 70% of it is made up of the euro, right? So that's why this has such a strong negative correlation to what the dollar actually does. Now, if you guys look at what we were predicting last night, again, this is something that we actually, these arrows and the setup, guys, was what we looked at last night and what we were expecting to actually find. I told you guys that if price came up to this 107.5 level, that I was going to sell the hell out of it. Unfortunately, price never actually ended up getting up to that level. It just didn't give us that pullback, and it is what it is. It happens, right? But as you guys can see, our prediction was on point. This thing absolutely tanked. Now, the reason why I wasn't able to still get in, because there was various different opportunities to still get in, even if price didn't come all the way back up, especially if you know how to use the moving averages, right? We had a bunch of different opportunities. I didn't get in because I was sleeping. I'm going to be honest with y'all, right? I was sleeping, and I just wasn't even paying attention to it by the time I woke up. And by the time I actually did look at euro, I mean, this thing already has started to tank, right? So I ended up missing it too. It is what it is. It happens. No harm, no foul. But what do I think can happen now? Right? What do I think can happen now, right? So, I think we're still going to see more downside, guys, for the euro itself. Right? I would like to see more downside to come into play. Now, does that mean we're just going to sell right from here where we're at? I'm not going to do that. You guys can do what you guys want to do, right? But I don't want to do that. I want to see some type of a pullback. Okay? One thing that I like about these moving averages, right, is that especially the 50-period moving average, it acts like a magnet, right? It acts like a magnet, guys, right? So whenever we're close to the moving average, typically we can expect a nice strong push away from it, right? The 50-period moving average is the black line, right? That's the 50-period EMA, right? So it's the exponential moving average, okay? So anytime we come close to it, this moving average, guys, does a lot. It acts as support and resistance, right? This moving average also acts as a potential tool to be utilizing for entries. Like, this moving average, guys, can act like a lot of things, but the way that I'm teaching you guys right now is that it acts like a magnet as well. The further we are from the moving average, the more likely we are to pull back to it. Okay, the closer we are to the moving average, especially if we're going to stay with the trend, the more likely we are to see it push away. Okay, the further we are from it, the more likely we are to push back. The closer we are, the more likely we are to pull back away. So if we're looking at the moving average right now, guys, right, from this perspective, are we close to the black moving average on this time frame? Right, we're looking at the 2 hour, even on the 1 hour time frame, right? Are we close to this moving average right now? Yes or no? Right, let me know in the chat. Are we close to this moving average? Right, and if we are close, then what can we expect? If we're not close, then what should we expect? Let me know. Let's see what we got here. We got the boy Bert in the building. Shout out to Bert. I appreciate you, go. Big Bert in the house. What's going on, my brother? All right, everybody drop some noise for Bert. Definitely a supporter of the channel. make some noise for you. I appreciate you, bro, for tuning back in. Let's see. Hey, but what are your moving averages, right? So these two right here, right? Again, the black one is the 50, and the lighter blue one is the 20. And we'll get into the blue one a little later, right? But the main one I want you guys to focus on is the 50. That's the main one that I really use. Right? So again, the question that I asked, guys, was, are we close to the moving average, the black line? And no, we're not. Since we're not close to that black line, what should we expect? Or what could we expect? You guys are right. A pullback. Exactly. Right? Since we are so far from the moving average, I don't feel comfortable taking a trade from this area. Right? Again, there is a chance for price to just continue dropping, and if it happens, I'll miss it. Right? It is what it is. I want to see price pull back closer to that moving average, right? At least closer to the 20, right? The lighter one. But I want to see a pullback, because remember what I said, the moving average acts like a magnet, right? The further we are away from it, the more likely we are to actually pull back towards it. So with that said, what I want to see going into tonight for the euro, right? If we're able to see price come back up to, say, this 1.069 level, right? Write this stuff down as well, guys, right? This 1.069 level, if we're able to see price come up to there, that's really where I would be looking for the next opportunity to go ahead and short this thing. Okay, because as of right now, let's go ahead and just bring it back to basic structure, right? And knowing how to identify structure is key. That's very basic information, right? But let's look at this. We had higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Right, we just go this higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? This whole time right here was just straight uptrend. So this whole opportunity right here was just straight buys in the market. But then look what happened. We had a nice shift in momentum. Okay, we had a nice strong push back down that actually broke our previous higher low. Right? Very simple, guys, right? Whenever we see markets do something like this, right? We're creating higher highs like this, and then we see a break of the low. That is a clue, right? That is a clue of what we could potentially expect next. Okay, I want you guys in the chats to say that I am a detective. Write that in the chat. I am a detective. Right? Because the best Forex traders in the world are also the ones that pretty much act like detectives, right? What do detectives typically do when they go to a scene of a crime or whatever it is that they're doing? Right? They're trying to find as many clues as possible to try to put the entire story together. That's what a detective does, right? I love that emoji, Pat. All right, I love that emoji. Right? That's what the best traders do. When the best traders, when they come to these markets, guys, from a technical standpoint, they're trying to create as many clues as possible to try to figure out what the actual story is. So that's why we're detectives, right? Because we're just trying to do the same thing that they do, right? We're trying to figure out as many clues. What other people like to say is quote unquote confluence, right? That's the technical term, the trader term for clues, right? Is confluence. But yeah, that's all we're trying to do is create clues. So whenever we see a break of structure or a change in quote unquote character, what Roy said, or a change in momentum, a shift in momentum, that is clues, right? Then we see the market give us another clue, because then we ended up creating lower low, lower high, right? And then at that point, we needed to expect another lower low. So since we just created a lower low right now, what should we be expecting for next? Right? Who's Sherlock Holmes in the building with me, right? Okay, Sherlock. Right? Who's Sherlock Holmes with me, right? I'm definitely Sherlock Holmes on these charts. All right? I'm Mr. Sherlock Holmes, right? Because I need to get my clues in check. I need to make sure if I'm taking a trade, family, that I'm super confident based on the amount of clues that I have, right? Giving my probability of winning, giving me a much higher chance of actually winning in the markets. Right? Real sauce. Is this some real sauce? Is this some real sauce? Real sauce? Let me know. Right, because I love your name, Real Sauce. Right, is this some real sauce? Right, it's crazy, right? Only probably the OGs that have been following me for years now probably know this, but like my nickname used to be something around that name, right? I want you guys in the chat, right? And again, maybe some of you guys might know, some of you guys might not know it, right? But for those of y'all that have been following me for a minute, what was my nickname in the past, right, of trading? right? What was my nickname? Right, I used to be called something, literally something Selman. I don't want to say it right now because I really want you guys to understand that we've been doing this, right? But like for all my OGs on the chat, right? If any of y'all remember this, then I might give you some. We might set something up, right? Like a one-on-one or something, because that's for the real OGs. I don't know if anybody gonna remember that, but I used to have a nickname that they used to call me, guys, because of the value I used to provide. Let's see. Right? But yeah, guys, the question that I initially asked, right? The question that I initially asked was, what should we expect next? A lower high. Right? We should expect a lower high in the markets. Right? Mr. Simplicity was definitely one of them, Brother Joe. Right? That's true. But that wasn't the one I was thinking about. Right? They used to call me Mr. Sauce. Right? Like that was legit my nickname, right? Like on the actual calendar that we have for the company, this was like 3-4 years ago though. So a lot of y'all might not be aware of it, right? But I used to be called Mr. Sauce because that's all I brought to the table was just straight salsa, right? But yeah, so we're looking for a lower high to be created, and after that lower high, then we want to go ahead and see another lower low, right? Because now that we had this change of momentum, this change of structure, right now we're at a point, guys, where we can start to potentially target various areas of liquidity, right? Or sell side liquidity, right? And that's going to be these lows right here where we can potentially start to target if we're able to actually get this entry in the market. Is this making sense, family? Drop some sevens in the chat, right? I always like to confirm that we're good to go, right? I always like to confirm it, right? Just so that everybody's on the same page. So overall, this is what I want to see happen, guys, going into tonight for EURUSD. Right? If we're able to see a push back up, I would say around this 1.069 level, then hell yeah. Right? I really like the opportunity to go ahead and go short on this. Right? Maybe have a situation like this, right? A setup like this, an opportunity like this to take advantage of. Target all the way down to this, sell side liquidity that we're probably going to have built up around here. Right, so this is what I'm looking for. Okay, now, again, if this happens, though, something to keep in mind, right? Because, again, I always like to give different perspectives just so that you guys are aware. Because at the end of the day, yeah, I would want this to happen, but the market's going to do what the market's going to do. All right, we don't control, guys, what the market ends up actually doing. Okay, so if the market ends up actually breaking this entire level and stopping us out, then at that point, I'm probably going to be expecting another change of character, another change of momentum. And then at that point, we'll probably see, more bullishness to come in for the euro itself. All right, so that's just something to really consider as well, depending on how it actually plays out. But overall, I'm definitely liking the sell side for the euro. If we're able to get this lower high to be created at around this 1.069 level, I'm definitely liking the short opportunity. This is a 4.5 to 1 risk to reward. So that's absolutely lit. So just so you guys can see how this pretty much would look like, right? I typically risk 2%, guys, for every single trade that I take. So we're talking about having a 2% risk on this opportunity, right? So if I'm trading in, say, $100 account, I'm only going to be risking $2 on this trade. But since our risk to reward is 4.5 to 1, we're going to be able to go for 9% gains on this one opportunity. Okay, risking 2% to go for just under 9% here. All right, risking 2% to go for just under 9% because the risk to reward is 4.42, so it's just under 4.5. All right, so that's what I'm really going to be looking for going into tonight. And this is actually a setup, guys, that I'm pretty much going to just set a pending order for. I'll set the sell limit, and I'll wake up in the morning and see how it actually played out. Right, it's either we're going to get the sell limit triggered, we're going to go for stop loss, or we're going to be, headed towards target. Or we don't even get filled either way, right? Different outcomes. Either way, I don't care. I did my part. I did my job following my rules, finding my setup, really just confirming that it all makes sense to me. Now, everything else at this point is out of my control. Okay, I did my job as a trader. All right, I did my job as a trader. Right, this is important for you guys to really get, family, right? I did my job as a trader because I figured out exactly what the setup looks like for me. I figured out exactly what I'm going to risk. I know exactly where my target is going to be. I did everything that I needed to do. I followed all my rules. right? So now whatever happens after this, right, whether we get filled, whether we don't get filled, whether we hit stop loss, whether we hit take profit, that's out of my control, right? The only other thing that I will possibly do is just make sure I'm paying attention to, you know, the trade, so that I could really just actively manage the trade as it's actually going. And what I mean by that is, if the trade starts to go in profit, then yeah, I want to make sure that I'm managing my risk correctly, and I want to remove the risk completely off the table once it actually makes sense to do so. Okay, I hope this makes sense. All right, let's see what else we got here. Like up the fam, likes up fam. This is that sauce. I appreciate you, Kyle. Definitely go ahead and drop some likes, family, on this video if you guys are getting some value as of right now. If you guys got any type of value, make sure to go ahead and spam that like button. All right, it definitely just helps get this channel out to more people. Because one of my goals, family, for this entire thing that I'm doing here is to become one of the top Forex channels on YouTube, right? And I want to be one of the top Forex channels on YouTube, not just based off lifestyle like a lot of these other channels are, right? I want to be one of the top traders on YouTube, not even traders. I don't care about who's the best. I just want to have one of the most impactful channels in the world when it comes to teaching this topic, because it changed my life, and I want to be a blessing to others, right? So definitely go ahead and smash the like button as well. I appreciate every single one of you guys for showing love. It definitely means a lot, right? So overall, this is what I'm looking for. Right, we'll see what happens though, like I said, in the morning, and we'll just deal with the outcome at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next one, guys. And again, this right here is my watch list for any of you guys that are new. You know, these are the ones that I really focus on. I don't mind taking other pairs outside of this if, you know, near the end of the session. The only way that I will look at a different pair outside of my watch list, right, is either by somebody just supporting the channel with a super chat or a sticker, something like that. You know, anything that supports this channel, then yeah, you know, you skip the line. You know, I'll look at whatever you want. If you want me to look at the soybean chart, I'll look at soybeans and try to create a bias for that, right? If you're supporting the channel, then you get whatever you need, right? But besides that, I'm pretty much just gonna stick to my watch list that I got here. So hopefully this watch list has a few of the pairs that you're really gonna be looking at. So let's go and take a look at gold now, guys, and see what we got here for gold. Let's see. Good evening, all. First timer here. Shout out to Tracy. I appreciate you, Tracy. Welcome to the family. Actually, matter of fact, that's a good question. Samoan that Forex shit. What lot size is that? That's actually a really good question, right? So before I even get into gold, let's actually talk about that real quick, right? Because this is very important to understand. Extremely important, right? We got Mark G in the building. Shout out to Mark G. I appreciate you. Welcome to the family as well. Welcome to the family, guys. I appreciate y'all. We got Usman in the building as well. Recent subscriber. Shout out to Usman. Welcome to the family as well. Hopefully you guys are subscribing because you guys are able to get some value. Family, go ahead and drop them welcomes in the chat for all of our newest members, all of our newest subscribers. Go ahead and drop some welcomes. Monkey, I see you in the building. Shout out to you as well. You know, again, hopefully you guys are subscribing because you guys have gotten some type of value so far. So welcome. I look forward to providing you guys with more value. Right, so just to answer that question, right, because this is very important, Samoan, how to understand what lot size to actually use. Okay, now there's a whole algorithm that you typically want to follow when it comes to that. Or you can just use a position size calculator to figure out exactly what lot size you should be using, right? So I'm actually going to give you guys, you know, the lot size that I pretty much look at, right? The lot size or the position size calculator that I like to utilize, that I still utilize to this day. Like, I do not take a trade unless I actually go ahead and check this damn calendar. I don't, right? Because I'm not no math wizard, right? I'm not a mathematician, right? I can't just figure out what lot size is which based off just doing the numbers, right? I'm not that smart. I'm just being honest, right? So what I typically do is I come to a position calculator like this one, right? This right here, guys, app.nashmarkets.com, right? I'm actually going to send it in the chat for you guys, right? This is what I utilize every single day. Every single time I place a trade, I do not place it unless I do these numbers first. So how it works, guys, is very simple, right? You want to go ahead and put your account balance. I'm just going to go with $1,000 account. Let's just say 1,000. Risk percent is exactly how much you're going to be risking per trade. So again, I risk 2% per trade. The asset class is obviously what we're going to be trading. Okay. The instrument is the actual currency pair that we're going to be looking at, EURUSD. And now all you got to do is just put in the numbers, right? So let's go back to EURUSD, right? And again, this will be more of a sell limit opportunity, right? A sell limit. So if I want to enter at around 1.069, let's just do 0.69, right? Round number. It's not that round, but I want to enter at 1.069. That's going to be my entry. 1.06900. All right. From there, my stop loss is going to be, let's see, stop loss is going to be around 37 pips from that. I'm just going to do 40 pips from that area. All right, so stop loss in pips, 40 pips. All right, let's actually see what the actual price is. That is 1.073. We'll do 1.0735. 1.0735, right? So 45 pips. And our take profit is, you obviously want to put in your take profit, right? Shout out to Themby in the building. I appreciate you. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the family, guys. Go ahead and make some more noise as well for Themby in the building. Massive shout out to you. Thank you for being a subscriber, bro. Hopefully you're getting some value as well, right? So you obviously want to put your take profit as well, guys, but we don't really need to, just to get the actual perimeters. So once you get everything placed, then you want to go ahead and hit calculate position size, and it will tell you if, for one, you're able to even place the trade, and it will also tell you guys the exact lot size you need to place when you're actually placing this trade, right? Whenever it decides to actually pop up for me, that would be phenomenal. Right? Let me see. So it's not popping up right now, but the cool thing about this actual app as well is that they actually have an app on the phone, right? So you can literally go right to your phone and do the same exact thing, right? So I'm actually going to do it from the phone just so it's a little easier, and I can show you exactly what it looks like, because on the website for some reason it is being annoying, right? So let's go ahead and do this right here on the phone so you guys can see also from the phone, and I can tell you guys exactly what it is, right? 1.069. We're going to go short. 1.069. .069. Why isn't it letting me do it? Let's see. $1,000, 2% risk. We're going Forex. EURUSD 1.06900. We're going short. Oh, that's why I didn't even click the direction. Duh. Right, calculate. Right, and look at this. Position size. Right, so based off the, yeah, that's what it was, Cedric. I'm tripping. Right, so based on the perimeters that I just placed, right, $1,000 account, risking 2% for a trade idea that's going to cause a 45 pip lot size, or stop loss, I mean, we're able to place a 0.04 lot size. Now, I want you guys to really understand this, right, because this is important. A lot of you guys on this call right now, right, I would say probably 90% of you guys that had $1,000 in your account, you're most likely going to throw so much of a bigger position size in the 0.04, and in your head you're thinking, oh yeah, I'm still following risk management. No, you're not. Right, you're not. And this is why it's important, guys, to utilize these positions calculators so that you know for sure exactly what lot size or position size you're supposed to use. Because in order for me to follow proper risk management and only risking 2% on this position, the max lot size that I could throw is a 0.04. And I get it, $1,000 in your account, you want to be able to throw larger lot sizes. But this is why I said it before, guys, right? It's so much more important to be disciplined, right? To be more disciplined and follow your rules than it is to actually try to make a lot of money and try to make a lot of profit. Right? I want you guys to put this in the chat, and I'm going to write it as well in the chat. I want you guys to really copy this, right? Because this is important. I want you guys to write this in your journals and your notebooks as well. Right? Discipline over profit. Discipline over profit. Right? Discipline over profit. Who's with me? Right? Who's with me right now? Right? Because again, most of y'all with $1,000 in your account, y'all is probably gonna be throwing 0.4s, 0.5s, right? Trying to make $4, $5 a trade. Right? Discipline over profit, guys. Y'all need to write that down. Have that somewhere near you. Right? Because this is the stuff that's really gonna dictate your ability to truly see results in this game. It's your ability to be disciplined no matter what the setup is, no matter what the situation is, no matter how much money you think you got in your account. It's discipline over profit. That should be the motto, right? Matter of fact, like, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna create a shirt for that, right? I'm gonna create a shirt. I'm gonna sell merch, right? And one of the shirts is gonna say discipline over profit. Because when you're disciplined, it's gonna lead to the profit. But when you're only focused on the profit and you lack discipline, you're not going to get anything of it. Oh my God, that's a bar. That's a bar. That's a bar. Yeah, we got to get a shirt made for that. We got to get a shirt. I'm going to get a shirt made that says discipline over profit. No cap. Right? Because that's exactly why the successful traders that you guys see are actually successful. It's because they're more focused on being disciplined than actually trying to go ahead and make a bag, right? They're more focused on being disciplined and following the rules than they are on trying to quadruple and flip their account. Right? When you're disciplined, the money's going to follow. When you're disciplined, the money's a byproduct of you being disciplined. Oh my God. Guys, we speaking tonight, family. I promise y'all. Like I said, ain't nobody going to give you this value on nowhere. And again, I know I'll be sounding a little cocky, but like, it just comes from experience. Like, I'm talking from experience. I went through all this. Like, let's be real, guys, right? Let's be real right here. Can you guys be real with me? Can you guys be real with me one time? How many of you guys in this chat would probably be up so much money, right, would actually be profitable if you actually were disciplined? Let's be real here. Right? We're family, right? We're all family on here. Let's be real here. How many of you would actually be profitable today if you were actually a little bit more disciplined? Let's be real, right? Because it took me 3 years to actually really understand this, right? For those of you guys that really don't know my story, family, like, I've been trading for 7.5 years now. 7.5. My first 2-3 years, guys, I made no money. I made no money whatsoever. I went from blown account to blown account to blown account to blown account. Like, I probably blew more accounts than a lot of you guys on this call right now. And that's me being realistic. And I have no shame in my game. Like, I don't care about that. I'm not ashamed to say that, because all those blown accounts led to where I'm at today. Right? But the reason why I would blow so many accounts and go through that whole cycle of funding an account to blow it the next week was because I was being I was so focused on profit and flipping my account than I was on actually being disciplined. That's what it is. I'm just being honest. Like I said, I'm here to tell you guys what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. All right? And that's what a real mentor is supposed to do, right? A real mentor is supposed to tell you what you need to hear. What you need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear. Right? So I know for a fact a lot of us are going through that, right? Where we're so focused on trying to grow and flip our accounts that we throw discipline out the window. But when it comes to trading Forex, right, which is a market that, is somewhat predictable, but at the end of the day, there's too many factors that control this market, right? We have to make sure that we're disciplined every single trade that we need, that we're placing. Right? Yeah, there's going to be times, guys, where we catch a lucky trade, right? Where we over leverage and we double our account overnight. There's going to be times with that, right? I'm doing a challenge account right now where I pretty much quadrupled my account already. Right? So yeah, there's going to be times where we get lucky and we do those things. But as a newer trader, you have to get out of that habit ASAP. Like, get out of that habit of trying to flip your account. Get out of that flipping mindset, right? That you have to flip your account. Get out of that mindset. Get out of that habit as soon as possible, Become profitable with growing small accounts with small gains consistently. You know what's crazy? Like, there was some, and this is what I was talking about, right? I really don't like going on these rants, but they're needed. They're important, right? They're important. These rants are important, right? So a few weeks ago, actually it was about a month ago, right? There was somebody in my Telegram, you know, and I can't remember who it was, but you know, they went into Telegram and they were excited about, you know, growing their account. You know, they pretty much doubled their account overnight, right? And they were super ecstatic and they were, you know, showing off and stuff like that. And it wasn't showing off in a negative way. They were just excited, right? And yeah, you know, I love seeing things like that. But the thing that I told him, and this is what I'll tell any single one of y'all, don't come to me, guys, trying to showboat because you just grew your account and you doubled it, right? You gained 100% gains on your account. That's not impressive to me. Like, that's not impressive to me, right? Flipping your account over a short period of time is not impressive. It's really not. Growing your account over a long period of time while being disciplined, while following your rules, while following proper risk management, that's impressive. That's impressive. That's what I like to see. Right? Because anybody can get lucky and double their account. Anybody can get lucky and flip their account. It happens, right? People are going to be able to do it at times, but is that sustainable? No, that's not sustainable. Right? Trying to flip your account every single time is not sustainable. And I promise you, you're going to end up losing and blowing your account more times than you're actually going to be profitable flipping it. So like I said, I love the fact that people make money. I love the fact that you just doubled it. That's cool and all, but that's not impressive to me. Being impressive is you being disciplined and growing your account by 2%, 3%, 4%, 5% every single day. That's impressive. Because that actually requires a lot of discipline. Right? That requires a lot of precision, right? A lot of real proper risk management. That's impressive. That's what I like. Right? Is this making sense? Let's see. St. Jude, it was me. It might have been St. Jude, and I appreciate you though. Right? You know it's all love. Right? You know it's all love. But that's the impressive thing. Again, like I said, guys, I'm going to tell you guys the real of trading on how to really actually scale this. Right? I'm blessed into being in a position, guys, where I haven't worked a job on almost 5 years. Right? We're going almost 5 years of me being a full-time trader, which is crazy for me to even say. 5 years. So I think I know exactly what it takes to actually do this. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best because I'm not. There's traders on YouTube that are making way more money than me, right? They have way more better things, right? But one thing about me, it's all about consistency with me, right? That's what it's all about. I'm more focused about consistent growth over time, over a period in time. That's what it's all about, guys. Right, so let's get back to what we're talking about now. Right, so let's go ahead and take a look at gold. Right, I know I just went on a whole freaking rant like I always do. Like I said, I couldn't promise that I wasn't going to, but it is what it is. Right, so let's take a look at gold real quick, guys. Right, so gold, you know, like I told you guys yesterday, again, we did see price pretty much do what we wanted it to. It didn't get into the area I wanted to take the trade. So again, this is just another missed opportunity for me. By the time I actually noticed gold, it already had took off, right? Because I didn't wake up till around 7 o'clock, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. You know, so by the time I woke up, this thing was already pretty much gone. But one thing that I told you guys yesterday as well. What did I tell you guys about yesterday as well? I said I wanted to see price come to the 1825 level. That was really going to be for my entry. But anything below 1830s was valid for us to really look for potential entries on. Okay? I hope this makes sense. All right? I told you guys yesterday, anything below 1830s was an area that we can really look for potential trades or entries from. But since I wasn't actually actively watching the charts, and this is the only downfall, guys, of using pending orders, right? Especially if you want to like set it and forget it type of trades, right? Where you just set the pending order and then you forget about it and let it play out. This is the only downfall of it, right? Is that you do have a lot of missed opportunities, right? Like this week for me, I had a really good week so far, but I did miss out on a bunch of opportunities because again, I just set the trade and I let it play out, right? And I'm sleeping during the middle of the night and I'm sleeping during the morning. when a lot of the moves actually happened, right? And again, for me, I really don't care. It is what it is, right? I don't get emotional about things like that. It's just a missed trade. It is what it is, right? There's going to be plenty more. But if I was actually awake, right? Like if I was actually awake and I was watching this and I was analyzing this, see, then I probably would have been looking at how price was playing down here around these levels, and I probably would have been able to really find an opportunity to get in. But I wasn't, so it is what it is. But what can we expect next, guys, for gold? Right? What can we expect next? Right? Well, now that we actually did see a nice push up, I'm very interested, guys, in seeing if we can get a reaction for gold. The area I'm really going to be interested in is going to be around this 18, I would say 1836, 1837 level. Right? That's really where I want to look for some entries from. Right? If we're able to really go ahead and spike below this wick right here, like around, yeah, like 1836 is really where I would love to see price, you know, give us a potential entry, right? So around 1836 would be pretty lit. All right, let's see. Yeah, 1836. I really like that 1836 level going into tonight, because I do want to see more upside, guys, for gold. Right? I do want to see more bullishness to come into play for gold. Right? So if we're able to see price come down to around 1836, 1835, then yeah, I really like the potential of this thing actually to go higher. Right? So this is a play for gold. You know, keep your eyes on gold. If you like trading gold like I do, you know, gold is extremely volatile pair or asset, you know, that really moves nicely. You know, but I want to see price go ahead and spike below this little wick right here, this area of potential liquidity created by this wick. 1836 looks juicy. If you want to do more of a smart money type of entry, you could also try to play off of the order block all the way down here, you know, at around 1832. But I'm really going to be starting to look for a trade. Yeah, around 1836, 1835, guys, is where I'm really going to be starting to look for potential entries to go ahead and get involved. You know, we did just see, again, a massive rally for gold. You know, we did break some levels of structure. You know, this little area of reaccumulate, or not even reaccumulation, but this area of accumulation right here. We broke it. I think we can come back down into this area, and then from there, go ahead and see a lot more upside for gold, right? So that's very interesting for me personally. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm going to be probably sleeping, you know, just because I do enjoy my sleep. I don't wake up for London session like I should. I probably will be making a lot more money if I did wake up for London session, but I enjoy my sleep, right? So I'm probably not going to wake up for it. So depending on how this actually plays out overnight, like if we don't actually drop by the morning time, then who knows, right? We might be able to catch it during New York session if it doesn't actually start to drop anytime soon. But if it actually drops during London session, you know, I'm going to have a pending order here at around 1836. And then from there, we'll be able to go ahead and just take advantage of it, yeah, when it actually plays out. All right, but that's overall, guys, going to be my bias here for, you know, yeah, for gold, you know, for gold for sure. Let's see what else we got here. Experience is the best teacher, 100%. Right? Experience is the one thing that usually a lot of people are lacking. Because you could learn the strategy all day long. I could teach you guys my exact strategy, but that doesn't mean you're actually going to start to see the, you know, see profits like I would, right? And the big difference is just the experience, right? That experience factor is a real thing, right? That experience factor is a real thing, guys, right? Like experience is usually the biggest differentiator between the profitable and the non-profitable traders, right? Because you got to be able to experience these things. Let's see, I've been trading for 4.5 years and just really honing down and learning, but I thank God I have never given up. Yeah, exactly, Brother Joe. You never give up. Never give up. Let's see, investing. I grabbed gold in demand right now when it fell in yesterday. Gold looking strong, dollar weakening, dollar hit 382 fib. If we hit 1832, I'll double down. Broker you used to trade? Abel. So I actually used two different brokers. I use Henkel Trade, which is one in my description, in my bio. I recommend them, but I also use another one called Nash Markets, right? So that tool that I actually showed you guys with the position size calculator, they're a broker, right? They're an actual broker as well, and I'm gonna drop the link as well in my bio, so you guys can go ahead and check out, you know, both of those brokers. But those are the ones that I pretty much use. All right, but that's what I'm looking at for gold. Let's see, GJ Long. Let's go ahead and take a look at GJ now. All right, let's take a look at GJ and see what we got here. How can I better understand lot sizes? That's a good question, right? So lot sizes is something that, again, is very important. You know, like you're not going to really understand how to manage risk unless you actually understand how to really, you know, get the correct lot size down packed, right? So the best thing to do about lot sizes is not try to overcomplicate it and just go ahead and utilize the position size calculator, right? Like Nash Markets has a really easy one to utilize, the one that I actually just brought up earlier. But you can go to Google and just type in position size calculator Forex, and there will be a whole bunch of them, right? Like literally, right? Go to position size calculator in Forex and Google, type that in Google, and you'll see a whole bunch of them, and just utilize that, right? Use that to actually figure out what your lot size is. But very simple terms, lot sizes go like this, right? You have a micro lot size, a mini lot size, and you have a micro, a mini, and a standard lot size. I almost forget that. A micro lot size is 0.01, right? That is 10 cents per pip. A mini lot size is 0.10, and that is $1. That is $1 per pip. And then you have the standard lot, which is $10 per pip, and that is 1.00 lot size, right? So that's pretty much what lot sizes are. Very simple. So let's see what we got here, guys, for GJ. So again, it's been doing exactly what we've been wanting to. Like I said, I think we have a lot more upside, guys, here for GJ. I'm still going to be very, very much so looking for opportunities to buy. Like I mentioned earlier, like I want to see this thing come up to the 170s eventually, right? So I'm definitely more so tempted to continue buying GJ. It's just now about looking for the best entry, because I think that we could be at a point, and especially at these levels of structure that we're testing now, we could start to see price really, shift back lower, right? So what I'm going to be looking for, guys, for GJ, the area I'm very interested in more than anything is probably going to be around, this level down here, right? If we're able to see price come back to around the 161.3 level, 161.3, if we're able to get down there, that's really where I would be very tempted to go ahead and start buying up. Right back down in this demand zone that we have here, right? If we can come down and retest this demand zone at around 161.3, then that's really where I'll be tempted to go ahead and continue buying this thing higher. But I truly believe that we are going to see a lot more upside, guys, for GJ, personally speaking. It just makes sense to me overall, from a bigger technical standpoint, even from a fundamental standpoint. The thing about the yen, guys, and this is what I was telling you guys about earlier, is the yen itself is, they're in a very, very tough situation where they're not even acting safe haven-ish, because right now interest rates are really controlling these markets, and how interest rates are causing a lot of investors to really dictate on where they actually want to go ahead and store their capital, especially foreign investors. And the Japanese yen in that economy, they're still negative rates. And I believe the pound now is around 1.1% or 1.5%. They might even be at 2% right now. I don't know exactly off the top of my head. But yeah, I think that just the fact that the pound itself is offering a higher rate, right, in terms of interest rates, that means a lot of foreign investors are more likely to go ahead and invest, their money into the pound compared to investing it with the yen, which is going to get you a negative return. So things like that, guys, is why I believe we're still going to see a lot more upside for the pound. So if we're able to see price come all the way down to around 161.300, that's really where I will be interested in and going long here for pound yen. Let's see, are they regulated, right? So those two brokers that I mentioned are not regulated, right? They are not regulated brokers. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't really use regulated brokers, right? I know there's pros and cons to it. Obviously there's pros and cons to everything that we do, right? The major con to an unregulated broker is that, yeah, if shit hits the fan and they decide to take your money, then you're pretty much shit out of luck, and it is what it is, right? But there's also pros to it, right? The amount of leverage that you get is a pro, right? Because if you plan on going to a regulated broker, right, like say Owanda, right, or Forex.com or any of these regulated brokers, you better not start off with no $100. You're not even gonna be able to place a trade, right? Because the max leverage that you can get on a regulated broker, at least over here in the US, is 1 of 50, right? 1 of 50 is not gonna give you enough leverage to actually place trades. So if you're gonna be starting with a larger amount of capital, right, like thousands of dollars, then yeah, you can go ahead and go to a regulated broker. But if you're starting off with smaller money, $100, $50, $200, then it makes no sense, because you're not even going to be able to place a trade, right? Because there are, requirements to to how much money you need to have in these regulated brokers for it to even trigger based off the leverage that's being available. And not just that, but there's also other little rules like the FIFO rule. Like the FIFO rule is super annoying, right? FIFO rule for a regulated broker is first in, first out, right? Which means that the first trade that you actually place is also has to be the trade, right? Go ahead and shout out to Surrey in the building. Surrey Dilemon. Surrey, I'm gonna call you Surrey, right? I appreciate you. Welcome to the newest subscriber in the building. Thank you for being subscribed. I hope I'm giving you some value tonight. But back to that, right? So again, the FIFO rule is just extremely annoying, right? So if I were to go ahead and throw multiple positions and trade different assets, you know, the first trade that I actually take has to be the next trade that I also close out. Like, that's annoying, right? The first trade that's taken also has to be the first one that's closed out. So if I'm trading one pair over here, but yeah, another pair already goes ahead and goes crazy, I can't even close that position out until I close this first initial one. So it's just a lot of different things, right? That, again, there's pros and cons to all of it. But yeah, the ones I recommended are unregulated. Let's see. What else we got here? Yep, thank you, Tina. Thank you, C. Baker. Thank you, Margie, for welcoming our newest members. It definitely means a lot to me, like I say all the time. All right, so overall, yeah, I want to see more downside, though. Right, I want to see more downside, guys, for GJ. Now, going into tonight, is there a possibility for us to look for some opportunities to go short? There's possibly, right? I'll give you guys a couple areas to keep your eyes on. Right, obviously, the first area is going to be this area of structure up here, 162,700. You know, if we see price come back up to that level, there's an opportunity to short there. Or another area is the one that we're pretty much testing now, right? There is an opportunity, guys, for price to continue reacting off of this level right here and actually going ahead and turning over to the downside. If there's one that I'm probably leaning towards, like this 162.4 level that we're testing now, is probably an opportunity, guys, that we could really keep our eyes on. Okay, so just keep your eyes on this one, right? Either we're, again, this is just my opinion, but I believe we could sell off from 162.400, or if it goes higher, we can also sell off from around the 162.600 levels, right? So overall, those are going to be the areas, guys, that I will be looking at potential shorts going into tonight to ride us down to around this 161 round level that we have down there. So that's what you guys can look for, looking at GBP JPY and seeing what ultimately happens. But I do think we could see more downside coming into play. That's just my opinion. But ultimately, overall, you know, I am expecting long-term bullishness, right? I just want to see price go ahead and clear this demand zone, right? This zone right here that we have created. Let me highlight it. Right? I want to see price go ahead and clear this demand zone right here before we actually go ahead and start really going back to the upside. So looking for that shorting opportunity to run these lows, you know, you never know, right? We might be able to get that. Another thing that we can look at as well, if price doesn't respect any of these levers, and if we end up breaking back above this 162,600, like if we actually just close above it, then we're probably just going to continue higher at that point. All right, so that's pretty much what we're looking at. Let's see. Hey, well, blessing to get linked into this. I appreciate you as well. Let's see. How many trades do you open in a day? That's a good question, right? Typically, it's not that many, right? A lot of people think that I probably place a lot of trades, but I really don't, right? I probably place maybe three positions max. And the reason for that is because I have a max overall exposure rule, right? Like, I don't like to expose my account to too much risk at any given moment, right? So the max that I will ever expose my account to risk is 5%, right? So peep this, guys, right? I don't risk more than 2% per trade, but I don't ever have more than 5% open at one given time. Okay? Let me say that again. This is key. I do not risk more than 2% per trade, but I also don't ever have more than 5% risk open at any given time. So if I'm taking 3 trades and I'm risking 2% on one, 2% on another, then that third position that I take, I can only risk 1% on, right? Because again, I do have my max overall exposure rule that I really have to follow, that I really follow to the T, right? In fact, you know, now bringing that up, I also have, guys, a video that I created last week, you know, speaking about that, right? Really breaking down risk management, you know, the 3 components that I really focus on when it comes to risk management. And I also even talk about the position size calculator as well. So if you guys have not watched that risk management video that I dropped last week, please go ahead and actually check that, because it will break that down a little bit more in depth for you. 5% max loss exposure. Yeah, exactly, Mike. So that's my rules personally, right? That could be still a little bit a lot for some people, but for me, that's I'm very comfortable with that 5% max loss exposure, right? So that's what we got here for GJ, guys. Overall, we'll see what happens with this. Like I said, I think we're going to see some more downside personally. I would love to see the market really go ahead and give us another move lower, but if it doesn't and we just go ahead and run 162, then 162.600, and I'll change my bias and ride up to buy instead. All right, so let's see what else we got here, guys. Let's take a look at USD JPY, see what UJ is doing. Let's see, be careful trading pound. It is a bank holiday. You're 100% right. Thank you for that reminder again, Jordan. All right, for sure. There is a bank holiday for the euro and for the pound tomorrow, so keep that in mind. All right, so looking at USD JPY, I mean, again, it did exactly, like I'm talking about exactly what we wanted it to do. It just never pulled back for us, right? So yesterday, guys, I wanted to see price pull back all the way to around the 128.200 level, and it just never did it, right? It just continued to fly, right? Like absolutely continued to fly. And yeah, there was nothing that we could do about that one. That one just absolutely left the station without us. But what can we expect next, guys, for USD JPY? Well, we're actually at a very interesting level. Now, I actually told you guys as well that yesterday, and again, if you don't believe me, you guys can go ahead and rewatch the stream yesterday just to confirm it. And I actually recommend you guys to do that just to line up with what I said and how I was anticipating and approaching the markets and then comparing it to today. I feel like you might be able to get some value from that. But I told you guys yesterday, guys, that I just expect USD JPY to continue going higher, right? Like I'm extremely bullish this specific pair, right? I think the dollar is just going to continue to absolutely, gain massive strength against the USD JPY. So what I would like to see, and it's very tough for me to just, yeah, you could look at smaller time frame and try to find an entry, right, in this, but we already been pushing up. Like this is very strong momentum that we're already seeing. So I would need to see some type of a pullback, or at least not need to, but I would like to see some type of a pullback in the market before we actually go ahead and continue running higher. Like that's what I would love to see, right? So if we could see, again, I'm not sure what the market is going to do, right? I'm not a fortune teller. I can't dictate overall direction. The market's going to do what it wants to do at the end of the day. But if we're able to see price come back down to around the 129.3 level, then I might be tempted to go ahead and really look for some buys to continue looking for this thing to go higher, because eventually this thing will turn around. I'm not sure when. Like I said, I'm not psychic, but when it does, then that's when I'm going to be, waiting with a good opportunity to get in, right? And that's the thing about trading, guys, right? You don't have to force every single day. You don't have to trade a certain pair every single day, right? Like something like this, like it's already moving, right? Look how far we are from the moving average. Right, so like I told you, the moving average, especially the 50, acts like a magnet, right? The further we are from the magnet, the more likely we are eventually to pull back. So we're pretty far away, right? So yeah, there is a chance for this thing to continue going higher, but I don't care. I don't want to chase it, right? I don't chase the markets, guys, right? Because one thing that I learned early on in my career is that whenever you try to chase the markets, you typically lose because the markets don't want to be caught. Don't chase the markets. They don't want to be caught, family, right? They really don't. Right, so I don't chase the markets, right? I let the markets come to me. I let the markets go to areas that I'm interested in getting involved in. And then from there, then I go ahead and jump in and get in, right? But if the markets is not showing me what I want to see, if it's not at a key level that I'm very interested in, then I do not care for it, right? I do not care for it. I don't focus on it. I don't waste too much time on it. I focus on taking opportunities that give me the best probability based off my levels of structure that I'm very interested in. Okay? I hope this makes sense, guys. Drop some sevens in the chat if this is making sense. Right? And shout out to our recent subscriber. I appreciate you, BTFX Trade. Welcome to the family. I appreciate you so much. I'm surprised why the announcement my music didn't go off for that, but thank you so much for actually being subscribed. I appreciate you. And hopefully you're able to get some value. Let's see. Would you add crypto futures, BTC? I'm pretty good during Asian session. We might be able to look at that sometime. I do look at crypto, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, but trading futures, I don't trade futures. Let's see. I just found your channel now. I support good quality live streams. Keep going, bro. I'm also short-term bearish on GJ, but long-term bullish. Break the weekly highs. Shout out to you, Jordan. I appreciate you for tuning in. Hopefully I'm able to provide you with some value. You know, if you have experience, you never know. You know, like I said, I love giving everybody an opportunity. So that's the thing about me, family. I like putting people in position, right? So, you know, once people start to really show me that they actually know what they're talking about, I don't mind doing joint streams with people, right? I don't mind putting people in position, giving people opportunity to educate the masses, right? That's one thing that I love doing, right? Again, if you know me, if you knew me long enough, then you know that I've always been all about putting people in position to win, right? So it's never just about me at all, right? So again, if you know, sometime in the future, if you know what you're doing and you're starting to see results and you're able to really, you know, really educate on a completely different level, then yeah, you know, we might be able to do some joint sessions for sure on this stream. Let's see, finally found someone who was up during the Asian session. I'm in China and trade Japanese pairs, but so I'm up really early trying to find setups. Shout out to you, Keish Williams. I appreciate you as well. Right, thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, you know, if you like the Japanese pairs, and you know, obviously trading them during the Asian session makes a lot of sense. Let's see, what's your take for non-farm payroll for Friday? Right, so non-par is definitely going to be a very, very important data release. You know, there's certain news releases, guys, that really impact these markets, and non-farm payroll is one of them. You know, non-farm payroll, guys, literally is telling us, or it's a way to really gauge, you know, what a lot of investors could potentially do from a sentimental aspect, right? Because sentimental analysis, guys, and fundamental analysis is pretty much the overall driver of these markets. Like, that's what really controls these markets overall, right? It's sentiment and fundamentals, right? Technicals is what we just utilize to find entries, right? But it's sentiment and technicals what really changes the game. So this is what I actually spoke about earlier as well, right? So we have a lot of newer people that just joined, right? So I'll break this down again. Right, and again, for those of you guys that are just now joining right now for the first time and just found my channel, right, one thing about me, family, is that I focus a lot on fundamental analysis, right? Like, I really, like, this is how I approach the markets. I create a fundamental bias, a sentimental bias first, and then I utilize technicals to allow me get into the markets. Okay, let me say that one more time, because this is very important, right? I find a fundamental and a sentimental bias first, and then I use technicals to align myself with what the fundamentals are telling me, right? Big shout out to Riley in the building. I appreciate you, Riley, for tuning in. Welcome to the family as well, for being our newest subscriber. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. And yeah, hopefully we're able to really provide you with some value, right? So let's look at non-farm payroll. So this is what I'm going to be expecting, guys, for non-farm payroll on Friday. You know, again, right now, guys, they're expecting 325,000, right, newly employed people. Now, this is a massive drop-off from the previous month. Last month, we had almost 428,000 newly employed people. So this is almost a loss of 100,000 people, right, that actually are now got employed for the first time. That is going to be looked at. If we come out anywhere near this number of 325, that's a major drop in actual numbers, right, from employment, from jobs, right? That's a big deal, because that's a big drop-off. A very good way to measure the strength of an economy is if there's people getting hired all the time, right? When we have people getting hired and there's a lot of people in the workforce, that means that the economy is typically going to be doing good because of that. But when we have a big sell-off or a big drop-off of people either getting hired or new hires finding jobs, that's probably going to be looked at as bad for the economy. Now, when things are being looked at as bad for the economy, that's not necessarily going to be bad for the actual currency. Okay, that's a big misconception that a lot of traders have, right? If this number misses 325, comes out lower, whatever the case may be, that's probably going to make the currency actually gain value. Now, why is that happening? Why would that happen, right? Because you really have to think at things from like an investor standpoint, right? You really have to look at this market, guys, from an investor or an institutional standpoint, right? There's two things that investors or institutions want to do. It's either during risk-on sentiments, they're going to be invested in the stock market, more riskier assets like the stock market, crypto markets, you know, a lot of more riskier plays, right? Risk-on means turn the risk on, right? They're going to be going to more riskier plays like the stock market. But when we have certain situations where the economy is doing bad, or we have data that comes out that is negative for the economy, then those investors or those institutions are going to be going more risk-off sentiment, right? During risk-off sentiment, their safer investments actually benefit, right? Like the US dollar is a safer investment, okay? It's a safe haven currency, right? So we have the US dollar, we have the Japanese yen, we have the Swiss franc that are considered safer investments, right? But we also have US bonds and treasury treasuries that are also considered safer investments, right? So if you're taking money out of the stock market because you have fear, or because of the fear of the economy continue to lose value, you're typically going to take that money out of the stock or the equity markets and invest it into bonds or treasuries, or a certain asset like gold, which typically benefits during chaos in the markets. Okay, I hope this makes sense, family, right? If this makes sense, drop the sevens in the chat. Right, so again, if this number comes out anywhere near 325, I think the dollar's actually going to increase because of that, and I think that the stock market is going to decrease because of that. So if this number comes out anywhere like this, again, this is my opinion, I could be wrong, but I believe the indices are going to drop, right? So things like NAS 100, SPX 500, right? US 30, I believe we're going to lose, those are going to continue losing value like they have been for the past few weeks, if this number comes out anywhere near 325. Now, if the number comes out closer to 428, then that might bring a little bit of optimism. If it beats 428, then the stock market's going to fly, right? US 30 is going to the moon. SPX is going to the moon, right? NAS is going to the moon, right? If this number comes out at 428 or higher, then all those is going to go to the moon. The dollar is going to collapse, right? Gold is probably going to... gold is a little tricky one because gold is more of a major safe haven, right? But the dollar is going to collapse. But that's only if we get somewhere near this number or even surpass it. If we come out near what this is, then dollar's going to fly. In my opinion, dollar's going to fly. Indice markets are going to collapse, and so on and so forth, right? So that's pretty much my take on non-farm employment change, or NFP. So it's going to be interesting to see what actually happens, right? But like I mentioned, guys, like depending on what that data actually comes out as, it's really going to give me more of a catalyst for what I should be doing moving forward as well. Right, but overall, yeah, I really like this 129,400 level for USD JPY. If we are able to see price come all the way down to here, then I'll be buying the hell out of it to go higher. All right, so that's what I'm gonna be looking for, guys, going into tonight. All right, I wonder why this thing is not connecting. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and take at the indices, guys, and we're pretty much gonna wrap it up with the indices. But let's go ahead and take a look at the indices, because I know this is also a fan favorite. You know, obviously, if you haven't traded the indices just yet, you know, I highly recommend you to do it on demo, because these things are extremely volatile. You know, these indices, guys, are, you know, obviously impacted by a lot of fundamentals more than anything. But what did I tell you guys yesterday, family? Right, what did I tell you guys yesterday? Right, I told you guys, especially for my guy Bart. Shout out to Bart in the building. Right, Bart. Right, shout out to you guys. Right, he actually wanted me to analyze this, you know, because he actually supported the channel. Or Bert, yep, shout out to you, Bert. Right, and I told you that I'm expecting this to actually go ahead and drop lower. And I still believe, guys, we're going to experience more downside for these indices, right? Especially depending on how the data comes out on Friday. I'm expecting more selling pressure. I want to see more downside for these indices, guys, overall. Like, I would love to see it, like, you know, S&P 500 come down to around the 4,000 range, right? So I believe we can really still see more downside. But yeah, Bert, we're right on the money with this, right? Like, we're right on the money, right? Again, I didn't get involved, unfortunately. I wasn't even paying attention to it. But yeah, we were right on the money. This thing had a beautiful sell-off. Now, I think going into tomorrow, we can potentially really get another opportunity to continue shorting this, right? So if we're able to see price come back up to here, right back up to that 41.33 level, 41.30 level, right, then I would really like to continue selling this, right, overall. You know, I think that we're able to really go ahead and break this low right here and break this whole little reaccumulation area that we had. I think we're actually going to go ahead and run this low as well. So I'll be looking for more downside for sure for this, right? So, you know, for anybody that does trade these indices, you know, I'm expecting more downside for a lot of these for sure going into tonight, going into tomorrow, you know, going into obviously New York session as well. So yeah, we hit that one right on the button. But pretty much everything we spoke about yesterday, guys, has pretty much happened. A lot of them just pretty much missed our entries, unfortunately. Let's see what we got here. Welcome to the family, BTS. Yep, 100%. Let's see what we got here. Best pairs for New York session. That's a great question, Alice. So USD pairs, right? USD pairs, right? USD pairs are obviously going to be probably the best, just because that's when, you know, they're going to be the most liquid, you know, the most volatile. You know, volatility is the professional trader's best friend. right? So especially when you know how to trade already, like you want to take advantage of that volatility, right? So you're not dealing with just, you know, consolidation and all that noise that typically happens, right? So yeah, you know, USD pairs is probably going to be the best, you know, to really trade during New York session for sure. I see Abel, I'm thankful that you were my mentor. Where I'm at now trading wise is crazy. Trust me, consistency is key. Shout out to you, Swazi. Much love, man. I appreciate that. Let's see. That's dope, Abel. I'm trying to teach folks like myself. Let's go, BTC mommy. You could do it. Hi, is Abel an HFX educator? Thanks. No, I'm not an HFX educator. I'm not an HFX educator. I never was. Let's see. I'm making crazy money from this market. And Abel, if wait a minute, when I see you in person, I have to thank you. That'll be love. I look forward to it. Let's see. Is the forecast on the Forex calendar helpful or misleading in those folders? I mean, those forecasts are those forecasts. You know, those are actually, they're usually pretty on the money for any pretty much calendar that you go to. You know, they're all pretty much very similar forecasts, but the forecast itself is pretty much what's just predicted, right? It's the rumor that we like to trade off of, right? Like, what is the rumor? You know, when I always say you want to trade the rumors, not the facts, you know, those predictions are pretty much the rumors that we're talking about, right? So yeah, you can utilize them for sure. Let's see what else we got here. Right, 100%. Right, so family, like I said, you know, again, another phenomenal stream. You know, I appreciate every single one of you guys that have been rocking with me. We've been streaming now for the past, I think, month now. We've probably been doing it for 3-4 weeks. And I will be doing this every single Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday moving forward. So if you guys were able to gain some value from this stream, continue showing up, right? Consider being actually a part of the member of the stream. If you want to actually be added into a private Telegram chat with me, where I'm going to be, you know, providing a lot of value, then, you know, consider going ahead and joining the community, joining, you know, my membership that I have here right on YouTube. You know, the packages are very, very cheap. I actually just came out with a new one today that also gives you guys the access of doing a one-on-one session with me, you know, and if you want to do that, and if you want to continue to grow as a trader, you know, consider getting one of these packages, right? And then as soon as you get the package, you know, send me a message on Instagram so I can get you added into the Telegram, so that you are a part of my private community, you know, where I'm actually gonna be doing a lot. I'm gonna be doing a lot with, right? Like I'm gonna be doing, you know, Zoom calls, Zoom sessions, private member live stream calls as well very soon. You know, I'm very interested in doing New York session streams, you know, for all of my members only. You know, so if you want to have access to that stuff, guys, make sure to go ahead and be subscribed, and also make sure to be a member as well. It's very cheap, right? Like the cheapest membership is only $4.99 a month, right? $4.99 a month, right? To have access to me, to have access to my private Telegram, you can't go wrong with that, right? And you also get, you know, a cool little badge near your name as well, which is pretty unique, you know, for people to actually see, right? So I appreciate y'all. First time catching this stream, love the content, much love. I appreciate you, Alex. Love it. First time here. Shout out to you, Born to Do. I appreciate you as well. And like I said, you know, I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram, family, and I'll go ahead and follow you guys back. And if I don't follow you back just yet, send me a message and I will follow you back, because I like to show love to everybody that's showing love to me. So family, I appreciate y'all. I love you guys. I'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same place. And yeah, I'll see you guys then. Let's get it.